Now I know this can hardly be classed as breaking news at this point, but we are currently living in a moment in time where it has never been easier to capture, record, save a moment in real life that is happening on a device, on a mobile phone, on a camera, or a thing which is on a tripod in front of me right now doing this video. And in the case of Tony Khan's All Elite Wrestling promotion, this means that moments that aren't given the honour of going down on, say, a Dynamite, a Rampage, or even a pay-per-view, can still somehow find a way to trickle onto the internet and into our souls and hearts and minds. I'm of course talking about those off-air moments that have set the world on fire but didn't actually go down in front of a live camera squire. Yes, because I am Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 off-air AEW moments that you need to see. Number 10, Cody Rhodes acknowledging a certain sign ages terrifically. Now, in the case of WWE, Vince McMahon isn't exactly over the moon at the best of times when he looks out into the audience and sees AEW t-shirts, AEW signs, anything to do with the competition or acknowledging the fact that there is a competition out there, even though there is, and there's quite blatantly competition out there, but Vince just does not want you to know that, WWE fans. But when it comes to Tony Khan's All Elite Wrestling promotion, they're just, I don't know, a lot more relaxed about the whole thing, and they're quite happy to have people wear WWE shirts or poke fun at WWE with their signs and things like that. It's all part of the fun, it's all part of the party. And it was actually thanks to this rather relaxed approach that a moment that aged terrifically in hindsight went down involving one Cody Rhodes, you know, the former AEW EVP who's now an American Nightmare on WWE TV. So come with me as we venture back to November 20th, 2019. I know it feels like a lifetime ago, and Cody spotted a sign in the audience when he came out to wave to everyone and salute them for another successful episode of Dynamite. On said sign were the three letters, Suck It Vince, which everybody subsequently started to cheer and shout and chant along. And Cody, well, Cody did a thing. Because as Twitter user @Riddick would capture, Cody said, I can't really say anything, the sign says it all, to rapturous applause because Cody was the guy to rally against WWE until he left AEW and went back to WWE, and he probably will not be in any rush at all to show Vince this video. Number 9, Danhausen curses William Regal. Now while this may have been made available via AEW's YouTube channel later down the line, it actually did go down after a Dynamite taping, so it's not officially a part of live television, if you get my drift. Coming after the April 13th edition of Dynamite, when they were taping Dynamite and Rampage and loads of different stuff, you had the Blackpool Combat Club come out and address the crowd, John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, and one Lord William Regal. And before long, Danhausen of all people then decided to wander out, and shenanigans ensued. The face-painted weirdo soon said that he wanted William Regal's suit, he wanted his shoes, and if he didn't, he'd get cursed. Nah. But instead of just completely laughing this whole weirdness off, Regal started selling the curse. The curse happened, Regal started flailing around the ring, and Bryan Danielson and YouTube were like fanning him down, trying to calm him down, and the fans were going crazy. Everyone was loving it, they were loving every second. This is what AEW weirdness is all about. And it was just a fun atmosphere with loads of weird AEW characters all together having the time of their lives, apart from John Moxley, who looked like he wanted to beat Danhausen into a bloody pulp in the middle of the ring, which one day, who knows, we might actually get. Number 8, Tony Khan's Brodie Lee tribute. Again, this moment would actually make its way onto YouTube via AEW's YouTube channel, but it did come after a certain episode of Dynamite, and my goodness, it's just too poignant and too powerful a moment to miss out on. Because obviously the world in general went through a bit of a crappy time in 2020, but when it comes to AEW in particular, I'm of course talking about the tragic and untimely passing of Brodie Lee, which shook the wrestling landscape to its core, and this then led to a tribute show led by Tony Khan and All Elite Wrestling that was touching, powerful, again, just really well done and really well made. And then after this moment, something again rather touching went down, because Tony was in the middle of the ring with Amanda Cuba, -1, I think it was number 10, and Cody Rhodes. They were all there, and the people who'd been let into Daly's place at this time were all cheering on -1 and Amanda Cuba, and it was just, again, at this moment in time, a very powerful thing to witness. But then just taking things up another gut punch notch, Tony Khan then hugs -1 in the middle of the ring, who's holding his father's belt that he made awesome and famous, the TNT strap. He drops it to the floor, gives him a big squeeze, and I don't know what more to add to this. It brought a tear to my eye, probably brought a tear to yours, and it was just one of All Elite Wrestling's most tragic but bittersweet moments you'll ever see. Number 7, the AEW Originals address Las Vegas. And now let me take you all the way back to the very beginning, the first ever AEW pay-per-view that was Double or Nothing 2019. Oh, how time flies. Captured by none other than your men on the ground with incredibly hoarse voices from What Culture themselves, Cody Rhodes, I believe it was Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, Brodie Rhodes and Kenny Omega addressed those inside of MGM Grand Arena after this incredibly successful event. And you know what? It was wholesome, it was authentic, and it, again, could have brought a tear to my eye, but it didn't. It just lifted me up and made me think, yeah, these guys can take on the world. Everything from Cody saluting the cleaner with his broken nose after his match with Chris Jericho, to Kenny Omega, again, just tipping his cap to Jon Moxley's arrival, raising the stakes appropriately. This felt like a real moment in time. This felt like the beginning of something fresh, of something new, a family coming together to change the wrestling world. And yes, things may have changed. One of them may have gone back to WWE, and it feels like, I don't know, the AEW project in general has just shifted and evolved as it was always supposed to. I'm sure while people may have come and gone from this core initial family group of AEW originals, and the AEW project as a whole may have evolved somewhat going forward, but none of that erases a genuine moment of camaraderie shared between the AEW originals as they set sail on this bold new path. Number 6, Punk goes full Doctor. The fact that CM Punk chose to shine a light on Britt Baker in his first ever words to the All Elite faithful upon returning to wrestling last year says a whole lot about how much CM Punk respects Britt Baker. But just in case you needed a refresher of sorts, Punk was on hand to yet again tip his cap to the Doctor, the former AEW Women's World Champion, on a recent episode of Dynamite, because Punk just does what he wants, doesn't he? I'm of course talking about the Thanksgiving Eve 2021 episode of Dynamite. After this, Punk walked out in Britt Baker's jacket, which was very snug, it was very tight, it was showing off all of his muscles, and he said, guys, let this be a lesson, guys and gals in the back, don't leave your stuff unoccupied or I'm gonna F with it. Punk then proceeded to struggle to get out of the damn jacket, and Tony Khan was in the ring trying to yank it off as well, and then Britt Baker would then take to Twitter and say, okay, for real, give it back, so respect, yeah, really cool CM Punk, but the Doctor, she wants a jacket back, and I would not want to get on the wrong side of that dentist. Number 5, Eddie Kingston blasts WWE. From joking around with jackets to blasting a hole through the competition, yep, we're shifting things up a notch with this one. Because following on from a special June 26, 2021 edition of Saturday Night Dynamite, Eddie Kingston took no prisoners. He saw WWE, saw everything they were doing on their program, on their supposed wrestling show, and decided to eviscerate it. Because after chasing off the Elites and chasing off Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, all these guys, after Kenny Omega just defended his AEW World Championship against Jungle Boy, he just obliterated them. He said, you won't see any of this on the competition. No, 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 you won't see them listening to fans. No, 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 you won't see them respecting legends because they don't like you, I don't like them, and I'm just gonna keep dropping pipe bombs left, right, and center. And it was just another beat that endeared Eddie Kingston to the All Elite faithful, because he said he didn't care that he was burning another bridge, it's just the way he felt. He is All Elite for life, he does not respect the competition, and then AEW proceeded to upload this again on their YouTube channel, so they clearly don't give a toss either. Yeah, Wrestling Wars, that's what it's all about. Number 4, Jon Moxley acknowledges a dud of a Revolution 2021 conclusion. Things, well, stuff hit the fan rather badly. Because instead of having this climatic explosion that everyone was expecting, there'd been explosions already, people have been put through tables, and Eddie Kingston had jumped on top of Jon Moxley to save him so late in the day, what we got was like a few little sprinklers and like a little poof, and everybody kind of sat there in the seats and said, is that it? And this was a really sucky position for Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston in particular to be in at this point, because they had to sell the fact that this terrible explosion had somehow dealt a quite substantial impact on them. But instead of doing any of this, Jon Moxley just like limped up, took a mic in his hand, and he did what he does best. Because in a video that was later uploaded onto YouTube, socials, whatever you want to call them, it was all over the internet, Jon Moxley pretty much said that Kenny Omega is a tough son of a bee, but he cannot make an explosive bomb device for S. So you can join those dots. He said that Kenny's good, he's just crap when it comes to making bombs. To be honest, all this had to do was send the folks in attendance home happy, because they had been deeply dissatisfied with the way things had gone down, because Jon Moxley is an absolute professional, he's one of the best in the world at what he does. He got them riled up, he went nuts, he got them all fired up and passionate, and they left cheering. Jon Moxley then limped off stage, and we all tried our best to forget about what had just happened. Number 3, hook is sent for CM Punk. Coming hot on the heels of a May 11, 2021 Long Island edition of Dynamite, MJF took to the ring, and he was obviously treated like a hometown hero because that is what he is. And CM Punk came down to the ring to rapturous boos, and everyone was like, you're terrible, and these two shared a ring and had a bit of an exchange. But then MJF said, I'm not going to deal with you, Punky boy, I'm going to let another hometown hero get in your face. And he was of course talking about Hook, who came down to the ring, and Punk looked like he was in a bit of a perilous situation. Because after trying to walk out of the ring, Danhausen just cursed him back up the ramp, and he backed up into Hook and did the whole slapstick feeling of the hair and the head. You don't touch Hook's hair, and he learnt that the hard way because then he got suplexed, he got red rummed, tapped out, and then things just got even better. Because as captured in this video, Punk was then put on a box because he was selling this red rum so much. He got put on a box and escorted out of the ring just dead. He was dead. Everyone was walking out of the arena, the lights were up, and Punk was just dead on this box. Punk, we do not deserve you. Number 2, Bryan Danielson chokes Justin Roberts for old time's sake. So it's been well documented at this point that one Bryan Danielson did at one point lose his job from WWE after choking a certain Justin Roberts in the middle of the ring, or outside of the ring it was, during his Nexus debut. He was choking him. It was like, it was not a good look for WWE, so they got rid. But refusing to miss out on an opportunity when the two were now under the same All Elite roof, after a certain Dynamite episode had gone down, Bryan Danielson was in the ring with Justin Roberts, and he was like, guys, hey, it's a reunion, let's get him back in the ring, what's the worst that could happen? Oh wait. Bryan somehow managed to get the entire crowd to go Justin Roberts to take his jacket off, and before long he took his tie off, and Danielson had him on all fours, and it looked like he was going to do the choking thing again, and everyone was like, no, Danielson, we don't want to get you fired again, don't do it. But instead of following through with another terrible choking, that is a sentence I did not think was going to fall out of my mouth today, he didn't do this. He patted him on the back, he said, Justin Roberts is a hell of an announcer, thank you guys, good night, because Bryan Danielson is actually a lovely, lovely guy, and I think his choking days are behind him. Number 1, a crippled CM Punk chases off MJF post-pipe bomb. Hot on the heels of this F-bomb tirade against Tony Khan and the Machine and everything, the whole broadcast went to black and it went to a commercial, but the action did not stop there. Because as captured by @BensonRichardE, CM Punk of all people then bolted down to the ring. Well, I say bolted, he tried to bolt because he was limping on a leg, but at this point nobody knew what was going down. I myself thought CM Punk was just selling a battered leg after his incredible match alongside his CM FTR teammates. I thought, oh, this guy is a pro, look what he's doing again. But no, it would later come to light that Punk did actually have like a broken foot at this point, but it did not stop him from hobbling down to the ring and seemingly squaring up against his old AEW Revolution 2022 rival that is MJF. But before that could actually happen, MJF scurried off through the crowd, everyone was going nuts, everyone was going crazy, but it felt like this was definitely a moment that was planted in on purpose to make those people out there on social media go, oh my god, this is what's going to happen, now we're going to have Punk MJF, it's going to be the next chapter, it makes all the sense in the world. But of course it would soon come to light that injury of Punk's was quite substantial, it would require surgery, so this whole thing seems like it's been put on ice, but it was a definite, very definite act, I think, dropped in there by Tony Khan to make everybody think, what's coming next? Is this a work? Is this a shoot? We don't know. Let's find out. But right now, that is all we've got time for in this list. Let me know what you think of all these off-screen AEW moments that people need to see. And if there's any more, please let me know about them in the comment section below, because who knows? We might use them for another video later down the line, or I might just watch them and go, yeah, you're right, that's really good. Also, if you're into this kind of thing, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more incredible articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on, and I would know because this stupid face wrote it. Also, be sure to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to all things What Culture Wrestling, and follow myself on Twitter @gmorgan04. But more importantly than any of this, have yourself the best day possible, and be a Punk, don't be an MJF, or be an MJF, and don't break your foot. There's something in that, I don't know what it is, but I'll see you later.